Welcome. This video will be demonstrating the events registration system from a member perspective, basically the experience that members will have as they visit the regional and chapter sites to register for events and probably the national meet for 2018 as well. What I've done is I've navigated my browser to our staging website and I visited the events calendar. Due to the single sign-on process, which basically makes it so if the users are signed in on another website, such as the national site or another regional or chapter site, and they have the appropriate permissions for this site, then they'll be logged in. In this case, I'm logged in as Paul Gilpatrick. That's the account I use while demoing stuff. And so I've navigated the event calendar, I'm logged in, and so I'm looking at basically a list of example events that we've created just for this demonstration. Ultimately, you have three options. You have more info and register. Obviously, I think those are pretty straightforward. More info takes you to a details page where you'll see information about the event, including pricing information, who to contact, the location, via maps, the description, and there's just a whole wealth of information that actually can be added into the admin, including documents and things like that, or alternate pricing levels and things like that. So the user could come here to really decide if they wanted to participate in this event or not, or for that matter, look at the map and get directions. So the register process kicks off the registration process. And basically what we're looking at is we're choosing as a first step the events that we'd like to participate in, which would be like sub-events and things like that as well. So we could have track activities that were optional. In this case, the main event is required, so it's checked. And if there are multiple options for lunch, perhaps steak or chicken or different prices, we could do that here. We could also do different cost for the event and then different costs for options and things like that. You can also choose the number of additional guests. So for this demo, I'll just say 0, but then I'll kind of explain where that would come into play in the next coming screen. So I've selected my lunch option, and of course I'm registering for the main event. I'll proceed to the next step. Here basically we're making a selection to participate in the lunch, and there's no additional charge to get the fish or the steak. So, and if you don't check the box, but then you choose an option, then it checks it for you. And if that way you don't have to worry about checking the box per se, just interact with the stuff on this right hand side, and then it's going to take care of that for you. So this is the main event registration options, where you're basically just making a meal selection. If there were sub-events or activities for this event, we would see them next. I don't believe this event has any. And so it just bakes, at this point, we're just zipped right through to the registration review process, where at this point, all of the form controls are disabled, so you can see what you've selected, but you can't change them here. And then it's calculated the total price at $45. At this point, I could go back to make changes to my previous selections. If I wanted to change to the steak, for example, then I could go back to the next step, or I could proceed into the checkout process. The checkout process right now is basically it's integrated with PayPal, and then through the admin tool you can configure your PayPal information. We envision that we'll be adding credit card checkouts down the road as well, depending upon what gateways we decide on and things like that. So for example here, if I click pay through PayPal, it's going to whisk me off to the PayPal site, and this is a demo account, and so I won't be actually performing the PayPal checkout here. But I've created a button for admin users that allow us just to experience as if the checkout were completed, and so I'll click on that. And then boom, your registration has been received. At this point, basically it prints that same screen out with the options that you selected. It includes a print option so users can print a receipt for their records. Thank you.